Welcome back to Adventures with PC Wabash. And what I got going on today is my pull string for my 2500 watt Champion inverter broke. Well, not the string, the inside of the pulley broke. That one's my old one, been fine ever since. Ordered me two of these heads from Champion, and as you can see, the whole inside that pulls it around has sheared off all the little plastic pieces, so it won't start, of course. So we have to get behind the control panel, between the engine and the front motherboard and all that. Luckily, Champion really does have good tutorial videos on how to maintain these little generators. So we're just going to go straight through the Champion guidelines on how to do it, and we're getting ready to get started. Alright, what I did, I went to Champion website on YouTube and I found the instructional video I was looking for. So I use these all the time and maintain them. So I just put their instruction video on one of my pages so I can find it easy. And I put it under, let's see, generator and small engine maintenance.
Okay, the small screw.
So the first thing we got to do is get these 4 screws off. Always get out your little magnetic tray and pick these up at Harbor Freight for next to nothing. They're awesome. The 4 handle screws are out. Next up, it says remove this screw right here, but I've already had it apart, so I've took off the handle already. Now we need to get these 4 screws for the side panel out. Most of the screws are the same. They're these little shoulder type screws that go right up in there. They're pretty cool. Then you take off the side panel, just like that, easy peasy. Next you come around to the back and remove your back panel, which covers the muffler. And just like that, it's out. Don't want to lose no screws. I'm in the yard. And that's out. You can toss that on the ground. While I'm in this, not what the video is about, but while I'm back here, let me show you something. This single screw right here, that's to your spark arrestor, which is this little screen thing that comes out of the muffler. If you find that your generator is starting to bog down for no particular reason, it's just bogging down, 9 times out of 10, all this filter to keep the sparks out is suited up. Take your little wire brush, gently scrub everything off, and she'll breathe and run like a champ again. Now we're going to get this side panel off. So all you do is kind of just pull up on it. It has a couple of retaining tabs right here that go in them 2 slots. That can go on the ground. Now we have 6 screws, 3 across each side, 10 millimeters. So you just zip them out. Now these are bigger. They're still shoulders. These hoses might get in your way, so they're the drain hoses for gas. That's why you got a magnetic pan right there. Alright. So let me go over to the other side and repeat. Now to get this all the way off, you have to take off the gas cap, take off this retaining nut, and then it's loosened up. But put the gas cap back on. So now we can take off the other 3 screws because we got another step to do. Get these off. This side comes off easier. Switch back over to Phillips screwdriver because on the 2000 you can just take the panels off. On the 2500 you got to take those screws off right here, which will release the side panel. So let me do that. Now we've took those 6 screws out, we should be able to just pop these panels right off now. Oh yeah. There we go, that's this side. Then we come around on the other side. Now to get the panel off, you got to take the gas cap off. So be careful because it's not attached to anything on the inside. So you don't just want to rip it off and have the gas tank come back on and splash. And it has an on-off breather cap, so make sure you turn this to the off position, and that locks the gas in the tank. See, now you can move this thing, but if you'd have just ripped it off, it would have spilt on you. What we got to do is carefully move this front panel over and get to the little 8mm socket right here, or screw or whatever, bolt, and it'll loosen the front panel up. That way we can get back to these 3 bolts easier. So you just reposition the front a teeny bit. Ouch, that hurt my knuckle. There we go. And loosen that up. And they're a different color, so you can't get them mixed up. And then do the same thing on this side. We turn it back gently and try to get this grounding bolt, which is right here on top with an 8mm socket. Shoot. Well, it's out the way. Didn't plan to go. At least it landed top side, the right side up. So it's out the way for right now, till I get squared away. But I don't like it gas leaking, so we're gonna fix that. Alright. Well, I just found the inline fuel filter by accident. It looks like this, and all it does is slide up in the tube of the gas tank, which they're sitting up to keep the gas from running out of it. So we're just gonna slide it back into its house, which is right here. Just push it right back up in the hole, and it's good to go. Now the gas tank's out the way. Get back on point here. Now, it says to gently lift this over and move it, and then pick up the control module, which is right here, and gently pick that up and move it out the way, or somewhat out the way, just like that. And that opened up total access to where we got to hook in the new turner, the new pull. So it has 3 bolts. They're already loose from when I pulled out the other one, so we're just going to get my hand in here, which is so much easier this way than the way I did it the first time. But anyways, that's what the instructional videos are for, right? That was easy peasy right there. Alright, I just cut open the box. It's well packed. Got air bubble wrap up in here. And there's one. And there's my next one right there, in case I need one while I wait for it. So I went ahead and ordered 2 while the ordering was good. And here, this is what it looks like with all the fins attached. Now all we gotta do is just slip it back in its spot. It's a bolt-on part right there. Then you want to do a pull test on your handle. Make sure it's tensioning, which it is, and the little gears are popping out. Now we just bolt it on. Now we just bolt it back on with an 8mm socket. It has 3 rings, so you know which way it lines up. So the first ones we're going to do is the 2 bottom ones, nice and loose. so we make sure everything gets started. Now when we put the top bolt in, it has a wire clip attached to it for, I think, this bundle of wires right here. So we just got to get it in there, and it said make sure you put the wire clamp back in its spot. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to pick them couple wires up out of my way so we can get this bolt started. I'm going to get them all finger tight. That way when I get the little ratchet in there, we ain't got to do but maybe a quarter turn. We just want them in there kind of secure and then we'll start the reassembly process. Alright, so we got that. Got my little 1/4-inch ratchet. And that's tight. It must have flipped off to the other position. And that one's snug. And the bottom one, where are you at? It's right there. It's kind of weird to get to that one, so we'll go on the other side. We got enough ratchet to get up in there. It works better from over here anyway. Snug right there. Okay, we gotta lift the base piece up, the motherboard here. Wonder if I got enough to, yes I do. I unhooked all that stuff the other day because I didn't know what I was doing. So let's go ahead and get these wires hooked up. Yep. Now, that's cool. Then we'll bring the motherboard back, and it has a slot right here. It's got surrounded by a little rubber grommet, and it sits right down on it. First, unplug up this one, and that's that. We'll bring it in. There we go, right there. And it's back in its house. I just reattached this ground wire with the little silver screw with my 8mm socket. Mostly by hand till I got right there, and then I just did that because it's aluminum and you definitely don't want to mess that up. Now we're going to replace the main board. That's the first step. We've got everything plugged back in. Then I unnecessarily disconnected upon disassembly. So everything is back to being connected while we had everything where we could get to it. So see how I'm tighten that by hand. That way I make sure it's seated in it. It has a recessed hole that this little nub goes in. Tighten that one by hand. Then come on this side. You can see it over here. See right here, it sets up in the plastic. See how it slid in? That way you know it's seated properly. It's in its rubber grommet. So now you can tighten this up by hand. And we're really almost done at this point in time. It's just a matter of assembling our side panels. But I'm going to tighten this up by hand. Because like I said, that's all aluminum. You put an impact on here, you might not have to be more, what do you call it? Spending money on ordering you a motherboard. We're going to go ahead and, while we got room, this is a big old retaining clip. We're going to put that back where I found it, which is around this whole little bundle of wires. And what that does is keep it from getting tangled in the pull cord. Where's my needle nose? Keeps it from getting tangled in the pull cord and keeps everything all bundled together. See, nice and pretty. Now we got to get the gas tank back in its house. So I'm going to pick it up, trying to keep it from spilling everywhere. Right here, and it has 2 tabs. But first we're going to hook this up. Remember, when it's time to do the fuel filter, right there it is. It just slips right down in there. Found that by accident. Alright. I had to look on my big generator and see what I got going on there. First we got to loosen this tab up some. Need a pair of pliers that can get to it. Up on there pretty good. And there's the nub. Because this goes to the carburetor and to the choke. So we're there. Take your needle nose pliers, grab the top and the bottom and pinch it. Slide it over the flared end till you get on this side of it, and then let it go. So now you're good. Got the 2 tabs here. Looking here, make sure all the wires looking good. Everything looks good there. So we put on this first side right here, and the gas tank tabs go here, so it's almost impossible to mess it up as far as the alignment goes. And then it has 2 little nubs here you want to kind of get on. I kind of think I tilted it forward a little bit. Yeah, like that. And see how it just dropped. Once it's lined up, it drops pretty good. Then you make sure you get your gas tab in its proper spot. And right there and right there. And that holds your tank secured. Now you're ready to put in this put these side back up. Now you tighten this back up using 3 of the big nuts. And their nuts, bolts, whatever. And you just find their proper place. And we're in. Let me turn my clutch down, because we don't need to slam it in there like I just did. There we go. Helps to look down. There we go. That side is on. This side's got a little bit more stuff to it. We have breathing tube and a carburetor drain for the end of the season. They go in these 2 little holes. So you just take the little one, go in on this side, stick it in the hole. We'll pull them down in a second. We just gotta get them started, and that goes in that hole. Then we take the gas cap off so we can slip this over. Now you can see we can pull these couple a little tighter, get everything lined up. Spark plug there. Lean it up a little bit so we can get it into its house up front. And it just clicked right in, easy peasy. Now, get everything kind of lined up where we want it in back, and put these 3 bolts in. Now we got that back in, we're going to put the collar back in its proper place. So we don't have to worry about the gas tank shifting. And you want to screw it up tight, because right now it's sitting on a spark plug. If you don't get it where it's supposed to be, it will sit on that spark plug, and next time you change your plugs and do your yearly maintenance on it, it won't be able to get that plug out. So I got my hand up underneath here. I'm actually holding the gas tank up so I can get that slack out of it and keep it off of my spark plug holder. And we're going to get it down here tight. And it's pretty tight right there. So I'm going to put my gas cap back on. And then I'm just going to give this collar a little tap. Now that collar's tight. And it has a rubber gasket right there. So while we're here, I've already cleaned the plug. We're going to go ahead and put the cap back on. Now we're getting down to it. We had the front panel correctly together. Now we're putting these 6 screws back in, and they're all shoulder bolts, and they're all the same. Everything's the same at this point. So all I gotta do is zip them in the front. And that's good. Alright. Now we pick up the rear panel. It has a couple tabs right here on top. So squeeze your machine together right here so the handle clicks onto itself. Get these tabs lined up. And there you go. Now we put these six in on this side. Next, back together. We're going to come over on this side, which is the gas tank side. Alright, so we're going to do the gas tank side first. It has a hole right here on the bottom. That's for these 2 drain plugs to come, drain hoses. So just make sure they're lined up. Put the top tabs back in their slot. Pop them in. Make sure you got your 2 hoses right there, which is fine. And then put the 4 screws in. Now what we got to do is feed our new handle through this side. So now you take this and loosen that up. Take it off. Just like that. Pop it out from top to bottom. Then you feed your new handle through. It's going to go in top to bottom because it has a little holder right there. So I was approaching it wrong. I had to slide it all the way through the front. Then it locks on with that little lip. And then you just plop it right back down in its house. Let's see if we can get something. There we go. Maybe that, like that. So just rotate. There we go. Now we're cooking with power. Get that and get this little screw. Don't screw this in hard either. There we go. We put in these 4 screws on this side. Line the 2 tabs at the top and just rotate it down that spot. And screw these next 4 in from over here. Everything's coming back together. We're down to our final 4 screws. I got 4 screws left. So I guess I must have did something right. I ain't got no extra parts. Put a magnetic tray. Didn't lose no screws. Now we're ready to see if it works. Everything's put back together again. Make sure you turn your red cap to the on position. That way it releases the vacuum so it can get the fuel through the carburetor. Pull the choke out. Let it sit for a second. There, turn it on. Now hopefully this is way smoother than my original, but I could be wrong. I do a little primer and grab the motor good. And that's what the other one used to do. There we go. Purring like a kitten. Love how quiet these things are. It worked. Mission accomplished. We got a new pull handle in. Got one on standby in case it breaks again. Everything fired up once we got gas back in the system. 8mm, 10mm Phillips screwdriver. Champion puts out a great video on how to replace it, but I have it in my playlist, so if it happens again I can do it. Plus I made this video on how a non-mechanic, which is me, replaced it, and it ain't hard. Just keep track of your bolts with your magnetic tray and not too much is going to go wrong, and then follow the directions. Alright, if you like it, share it. There's a little green button about 10 seconds into the video so you can subscribe, or just subscribe, because we got adventures coming from the Brakes Interstate Park this week and Claytor Lake. That'll be the next 2 camping videos. Alright, and tune in to Pastor Bill, Fixing Things with Pastor Bill. He's going to a hot ride, rockabilly car show at Summer Duck Dragway on Saturday. That's why I wanted to get this generator going, because I have 2 of these and they run a little bit quieter than my big one, and plus that thing's so heavy that I let them use. These are nice and light, 39 pounds. So if you're in the neighborhood, go down and see that. It's at Summer Duck Dragway Saturday. Later.